Welcome back to another quick review. Today we are talking about the latest 3D Sonic game, Sonic Frontiers. There hasn't been a good 3D Sonic game in 11 years, and this is the first one in 11 years to be good since Sonic Generations. This game is so good. It's really good. I had a lot of fun with it. I think yeah, there were some technical issues like they could sort out. I had a lot of fun with it. Going the main gimmick of open world, collecting Chaos Emeralds, going into cyberspace was all great. Now the game is like 2 weeks old, so a lot of people still haven't played it. So I'll pretty much be avoiding spoilers for the most part. I'll allude to things, but it'll be very vague. Basically, Sonic Frontiers, like I said, has a typical gameplay loop. You're in an open world, have to go to cyberspace to collect Chaos Emerald. Well, you have to kill monsters to get portal gear. To get portal gears, you use portal gears to get to cyberspace. You use cyberspace to get vault keys, which gets you Chaos Emeralds, and then you use Chaos Emeralds to fight the main boss of each island. And in between, there's like memory tokens for side quests and blah blah blah. That's pretty much this typical gameplay loop, but it's fun. It does get repetitive, but it's fun. I really enjoyed that aspect. Cyberspace was a lot of fun, making homages to other, previous Sonic games. The music, oh my god, the music of Cyberspace is so good. The music in general in this game is good, which is why I think one of the biggest snubs of the Game Awards this year was Best OST and Music, and Sonic Frontiers not being nominated. Good lord, just listening to the first, the first boss battle, the first three boss battles in particular, the music is amazing. It's so freaking good. It's actually insane how good the music is for these bosses. I love it. Now, I have a couple of them. It's including some of the cyberspace levels on my playlist, my personal playlist. I just listen to because they are just that good. Now, the characters, all the same. The usual Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Eggman, the usuals, with a new character as well. They're all great. I do question some of, the voice direction for Roger Craig Smith as Sonic, because his voice is way deeper, but it's not enough to ruin the game at the end of the day. All great. The story was pretty good. It was pretty engaging, and I did get lost at times, but other than that, it was fairly straightforward in a way. It called back to previous Sonic games and its lore and all that. It was pretty good. I really enjoyed it. Now, let's talk about some cons, because this is by no means a perfect game. On the technical level, when it comes to the open world, I feel like one of the things that kind of threw me off, and it still throws me off to this day, because I talked about it in a gameplay trailer, or in a video on my second channel, called Let's Talk About Sonic Frontiers. One of the things I pointed out was the rails, and the railings in the sky felt very out of place. I'm playing this game, it doesn't hit as much, it doesn't feel that way anymore. The rails are just kind of there, you kind of get used to them. But one of the things that does throw me off a lot of the times is how the rails just pop in. They just load in. They're not that. It is kind of it catches me off guard a bit, and I think that's one thing that Sega needs to improve, getting the tech better. Now, granted, I played on the Switch version, which if I had to recommend a version not to play on, it's the Switch version. I mean, evidently, if you don't have any other version to play on, go for the Switch version. It's still a pretty good game, but if you have any, like I learned, my whole thing with getting the Switch version was, oh yeah, it'll be portable. Don't get the Switch version if you have any other platforms to play it on. I have an Xbox, I have a PC. I shouldn't have gotten the Switch version, but what are you gonna do? Still a great game. Other cons. Other cons that I had, mainly four cons that I had. I'm gonna bring up. Cyberspace physics, as a lot of people have said, not great. Turning and some of the springs and rails and blah blah blah. The physics aren't great, but you get used to them after a bit. I'm going to talk to you about a certain minigame. The pinball minigame was horrendous. That minigame is trash. It took me a bit to get through it, because you have to get 5 million points in 3 turns without letting your ball, you have 3 attempts for your ball to go back to the bottom, and then boom, you're done. Like it's weird, and it sucks because you have to get 5 million points, and it is just the worst thing in the world. But once you get, like, if you can get the hang of it, it's like half of it's up to RNG, half of it's up to pure skill. It's fine. Next point, the final boss. The final, not technically the final boss, but the final boss that you like physically fight and control your character, Sonic. Very underwhelming. Like, I like the music and all, but I feel like the fight itself was very underwhelming and somewhat easy compared to the others. Like, the first 2 bosses, no, all 3 of the bosses were significantly hard, and I had to go back and like retry them. Like, I had to replay them, or rather, when it came to World 3 boss, it took me a while to adapt to how I did it the first try, but it took me a while to adapt to what I was supposed to be doing. Especially there's like certain move that the boss does where it's kind of weird movement how it works. This one, it felt very easy. It felt very anticlimactic. I can't tell you why. I feel like the use of "I'm Here" as a song in this boss battle, I think for half of it was not great, but half of it was also really cool. But yeah, the boss was kind of underwhelming. Final con, which actually is kind of a pro for me because I really enjoyed this con. So, cyberspace, right? The way it works is you have 4 challenges, and these 4 challenges, if you complete them all, you get like 3 for completing the level, but if you complete all challenges, you get an extra 3 or 4. Therefore, it makes it easier to unlock Chaos Emeralds, right? The 4 challenges in particular would be collecting red rings, completing the level in general, collecting a certain amount of rings, or completing the level with a certain amount of rings, and beating the level in a certain time to get a rank. If you don't know it, you get a rank based off of how fast you go in a level. It goes from S rank to D rank, and most of the levels are pretty easy to S rank for the most part. Yeah, some may take a couple of tries, but for the most part, they aren't too hard. Enter 1-2. 1-2 is the hardest level in the game to S rank. It's level 2 of the entire game. Why it's so hard, I don't know. You go in your first, you do your first try, like lovely stroll. You get all the red rings, get all the rings you need to complete the challenges, and then you get to the end and boom, D tier. Like, you think you do good and boom, you have D tier. The game tells you have to shave off 15 whole seconds, like 15-20 whole seconds, just to get a 1-2 S rank, and it's hard. It took me about 4 hours, because I haven't played like a 3D Sonic game in a while. I played Colors Ultimate, it's a bit different. It took 4 hours for me to complete 1-2. It's wild. It's very wild. But the thing is that I enjoyed it because the music of 1-2 is phenomenal. It's one of my favorite tracks of the entire game. But it allowed me to learn the mechanics of the game way better. Like, I got used to the mechanics of the game way better by just, or at least mechanics of cyberspace, by just constantly redoing 1-2. Eventually to the point, like, 1-2 is so bad to the point where people complain about on Twitter about it being patched, and there is a dedicated 1-2 speedrunning community in the Sonic Frontiers, and I am part of that community. I actively speedrun 1-2 because that's how hard this mode is. So beware of that if you're a completionist and you want to go for S ranks on every cyberspace level. Overall, Sonic Frontiers, solid 8 out of 10. Like I said, there are a lot of technical issues and a lot of things that I would fix, but overall, I think this is the right direction for the future of Sonic and 3D Sonic as a whole. I can't wait to see what Sega does next. That's the review. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Goodbye.